Can the Xbox One Elite controller help you in Destiny? Short answer, yeah, there's lots of cool stuff you can do with it. Is it worth the price tag? Well... What up, everybody? It's BBK Dragoon, and I did something I thought I would never do. I picked up an Xbox One Elite controller about 2.5 months ago. Now, the reason I thought I wouldn't do it isn't because I have some distaste or some anger towards this controller. No, I've always thought it looked amazing and I thought it was really cool. I just never wanted to spend that amount of money on a controller. For me, that's, oh my gosh, it's like 2.5 games. I'll just keep using my standard controller and I'll claw till my fingers fall off. But I was able to pick this up on a discount, and I wanted to talk to you guys about my experience with it if it's something that you want to add to your arsenal for Destiny. So let's just hit the immediate points that you're wondering. Yes, you can use this thing to some really cool benefits in-game for Destiny. So on the back, you'll notice there's space for 4 bumpers that you can remap to whatever you want, or triggers, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call them paddles, I think. I'm only using 2 of them because that's all I want to use for my playstyle, but I can absolutely see an advantage in mapping 4 buttons to the back, and the deal there is, especially for FPS guys, I've talked about it in so many of my videos, you want to keep your right thumb planted on the right stick at all times. That way, if you're doing a maneuver like a jump or throwing a super or reloading or reviving, you want to keep that thumb on the stick so that you can aim and shoot at the same time. It's incredibly powerful in trials to be able to kill opponents and like shoot back at them while going for a res. A lot of enemies don't expect that. They think, he's going for the res, he's going to have his thumb on X, there's nothing he's going to be able to do, I'm going to take him out. Well, the Elite allows you to map all of the face button functions to the back of the controller, meaning you never have to have your right thumb leave that stick. And that, you guys, can be a massive advantage, especially if you're somebody who plays aggressively and wants to sprint and slide into a shotgun shot. I know a lot of people do that. Twilight Garrison was the main reason I actually started using the Xbox One Elite. I was playing quite a bit of Twilight Garrison Titan on Xbox One. And in order for me on the bumper jumper layout, which is what I play, that's so I can jump using the LB button instead of A. In order for me to Twilight Garrison on that setup, I have to double tap B in order to use Twilight Garrison and nail my shots directly after it, which oftentimes Twilight Garrison, when it's not being evasive, you can use it aggressively to close gaps. I need to be able to aim during the actual evade, during the actual little jump that Twilight Garrison gives you. And the only way to do that on a standard controller for me is to claw. And I've talked to you guys about claw in a previous video. You can check it out here. It offers some awesome advantages, but it hurts my hand. I've got really big hands, and to claw for longer than 30 or 40 minutes hurts my joints. Like, it hurts my joints, my joints. So I love the fact that on the Elite, I can map the B button to one of the back paddles, and I can map the X button to one of the back paddles. So I can revive while being able to shoot enemies, and I can use Twilight Garrison, or Shade Step, or that crouch slide whenever I want to, with no fear at all. And that is awesome, okay? And the potential goes beyond that. That's the deal with this controller. It's completely customizable. I know I could throw 2 more paddles on the back and be able to switch weapon or press A without ever having my thumb leave the thumbstick. But for me, X and B, that's what I like. That's what works for me. It's simple. It took a while to get used to it. Absolutely took a while for me to get used to that process of using now my middle finger for button functions, something that I've never had to do before with a controller unless you were clawing. So, in terms of the build quality, it feels awesome in the hand. It's heavy, it's got great grip. Like I mentioned before, there's so much customization here, from the thumbsticks. You can change the height of the thumbsticks. You can change the D-pad. The trigger stops, that's something I really like. You can shorten the throw of the trigger stops. And it goes beyond just the physical functions of the controller. When you dive into the actual Xbox controller app, the thing that lets you customize your buttons on the Xbox One, you can change the acceleration curve of your analog sticks. You can change the point at which activation of the triggers happen. So even on short throw, I can tell it I want it to activate the moment I touch the trigger, which could be super helpful, especially for players who are using scout rifles or really fast firing weapons that they need to be able to very finessely burst. I like this thing, but here's the deal. Price tag is super steep. I think it's $150 retail still in the US. I got mine for about $50 off, and I'm happy about that, but at the same time, I know these sticks are going to wear out. Every controller ever has a spring for the analog stick, and the more you play, the more that spring becomes looser and wears out. I'm sure you guys have picked up one of your favorite controllers from the past and felt that feeling where the sticks are so loose, they practically fall to the side without you even touching them. You could blow on it and it moves over. And that is going to happen with the Elite as well. The sticks don't have some super awesome, unbelievable spring behind them. They will suffer from the same fate of continual use as a normal controller will. And the thing is, to replace an Elite is a whole lot more expensive. And that's my number one turnoff with this thing, dude. Like, if I could purchase replacement sticks for 30 bucks, done. This thing, I would tell everybody right now, it's absolutely worth it. But the fact that for me, about 8 months is when I wear a controller out for the Xbox sticks. I'm looking over at 2 older controllers over here. And I know that's going to happen with the Elite. I'm going to be very sad when that day occurs, because while I love this thing, I don't want to spend $150 again to pick one of these guys up. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, I think the claw players in the comments can say till they're blue in the face, I don't need this controller. I can use a standard controller and be just as good as a guy with an Elite. And they're probably right if they're good claw players. And on the other side of the coin, you have people who love their Elite, who would shout till they're, just tired and exhausted, hey, this thing's fantastic and you should pick it up. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and you get to decide. I mean, 150 bucks for some isn't a lot, but for others, it's a big chunk of change. And ultimately, is it going to make you a Destiny Pro overnight? No, it's going to offer you some advantages if you don't want to claw. And it gives you lots of customized, wow, that word's hard to say. Lots of options to suit your liking. Overall, love this thing. It's a bit expensive though. If you guys have your own thoughts on the controller, I'd love to hear them down below. And I'd love to hear from the claw players too. If you're happily clawing away and you don't want one of these, let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, could you please let me know with a like, subscribe for more content like this. Rise of Iron Hype. Talk to you guys later. Have a good day.